The loneliness we all know, but don't know what to do with or how to solve is being surrounded by people, being connected in one way or another, yet not being known. We experience this feeling as symptoms of anxiety, feeling like a fraud, hopeless or depressed, or just being sad, like there's something missing. This is the loneliness that we don't talk about, yet if we did, if we were vulnerable and if we were honest, just maybe it would begin to fade. This topic, it's been at the forefront of my mind as I spend a lot of time reflecting on my own life and trying to figure out other people and help them out. We all, we know we crave connection with others, but specifically we crave the type of connection that goes past talking about the weather and surface level things in our lives and our basic interests. But the question is, how do we go deeper? And why do our friendships often feel shallow? It's a felt need for every single one of us. I think the answer is found in what we see friendship as. And there is a modern view of what friendship is that many hold today, and there is a biblical view of what friendship is. And I think that the modern view of friendship will fail to live up to its expectations. And the biblical view of friendship is one that produces a life that actually satisfies. My name's Austin. I'm a speaker and writer. Let's talk about it. What's happening in our friendships today is easier to see when conflict shows up. And this short conversation with Cliff Knechtle exposes this well. Let's watch it together.
I am here to introduce people, not to me. I am here to introduce people to Jesus Christ. And according to Christ, racism is wrong. What my teammates in college did, the fellow basketball teammates I had, when they went out and womanized, that was wrong. That doesn't mean you're less valuable than my basketball buddies, than my racist buddies. We're all human beings created in the image of God, and God loves all of us.
Wait, you just said you had racist buddies?
Yes, I have racist friends.
Oh, okay. No, I got it.
And wait.
No,
And what do you think I say to my racist friends, guys?
You shouldn't be friends with them, though.
Oh, I see. So because you're racist, we can't be friends.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
No, you guys are part of a cancel culture that doesn't understand grace and forgiveness. I have friends who've done all types of evil, and I plead with them. I love you. I'm concerned about you. Please come to Christ and allow Christ to change your life. And I don't look into the face of a white racist and say, you're a piece of dirt and I don't want to be with you. No, I plead with them. No, I shouldn't. Jesus never treated anybody that way.
That's contradictory.
No, it's not.
God would not forgive that.
No, it's not contradictory. Let me explain. It's a great question.
That's not a
Man,
question.
do you think I've ever sinned? Good, you're right. You made a great point. Do you think I've ever sinned? Do you think I've ever done evil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then why should Joshua be my friend? If I've done evil, why should Joshua be my friend in your cancel culture? Because I've done evil. You see, Jesus Christ contradicts cancel culture. Jesus Christ says you're all sinners. And now you better learn to love each other. You better learn to forgive each other. You better learn to accept each other.
As we watch this, it seems to me like they are talking past each other, like they're on two different fields of thought. Why? Because I think fundamentally they hold different views of friendship. Say what you want about Cliff's response or position, but obviously Cliff and the students have two different understandings of friendship. To simplify it, one view says that you can be friends with those people who you agree with or support or affirm. And the other view says that I can be friends with those that I disagree with, because friendships are built on something much deeper. The students, they're holding this modern view of affirmation, and Cliff is holding this biblical view that grounds friendship in something deeper than that. Let's begin with this. How do we build friends? I've heard it said that there are 3 pillars of friendship. Mel Robbins talks about this in the context of her Let Them theory, which is explained well in her book, Let Them. She says that if all of these pillars exist in a relationship of people, then friendship is most likely present as well. The first being proximity. And this is just about the closeness of people around you. Who are you next to? If you see someone consistently, you're more likely to interact and develop a friendship with them. The second is timing, and this involves your stage of life that you're in. Are you in school together? Are you married? Do you have kids? Are you in sports together? It's just shared interaction in stages of life. And third is energy. And this is kind of like a persona that you exude, personality, an outlook on life, your attitude, or your interests. Now, these three pillars, they help basically explain how friendships are formed. Why some friendships might feel a little bit more natural than others, why some friendships just fade away when some of these pillars are no longer present in our lives. But I see one glaringly obvious point in these pillars. I think something's missing. And I ask the question, what about being known as a pillar of friendship? What about shared purpose? I think these pillars, they are necessary, but all that they do is they create the ability to have a surface level friend. You can share a season in life with someone and you can still feel deeply alone. If this is the foundation for our friendships, no wonder our friends feel shallow. No wonder people feel lonely. And at this point, we have to ask, okay, these are the three pillars of friendship. How do I break out of this? How do I go deeper in our friendships? Because we have to ask ourselves, am I satisfied with just talking sports, the news, the weather, surface level things, or other people's opinions about stuff? Or am I willing to talk about me? Now, I think that there is a reality for many of us, that there is this deep fear of opening up because of maybe what we've experienced in the past. Or no one has ever modeled for us what opening up actually looks like. Or we're just terrified of being rejected. But under all of those fears and insecurities, we all have the same desire. We want to be known, and even more so, we want to be loved where we are known. It makes me think of a Tim Keller quote. To be loved but not known is comforting but superficial. To be known and not loved is our greatest fear. This quote names our deepest desires, to be known and to be loved. And it also exposes why modern friendship can fail to live up to its expectations. So let's begin when comparing modern view of friendship versus a biblical view of friendship by trying to define what is a modern view of friendship that maybe the students who were talking to Cliff might have held. I want to think about how we view ourselves today, at least here in America, where I grew up. We're told that we can be whoever we want, that nothing is going to hold us back. We don't need to be restricted by the society we live in, the family we come from, the generation before us, or any particular religion or authority. Society is progressing, and we as humans are progressing. And that there's this freedom of the future, the ability to express ourselves freely. So in light of being told this constantly, we look inward to our wants and our desires, and we live those out to be authentic. Charles Taylor puts a lot of thought into our modern day, and he calls this expressive individualism. It's a term to describe this modern day belief that identity and purpose and meaning, they're found by looking inward and then expressing what you find outwardly into the world. Carl Trueman, he comments on this idea as the belief that each one of us find our meaning by giving expression to our own feelings and desires. Now, this has an enormous impact on our relationships with others and our disagreements or conflicts. If we disagree with someone's self-definition or expression of their desires, then it's no longer disagreement of ideas. It's actually harm to their personal self. And thus, if everyone is on a personal quest to identify themselves and find themselves, express themselves, then we ought to praise everyone on that quest. Expressive individualism, it implies this moral responsibility for the world, for all of us, to affirm everyone's journey and to celebrate their expression. And I think that this has become the foundation for modern friendship, where friendships, they're all about commonality, affirmation, and celebration of expression. Here's the problem with the modern friendships. They are based on flattery and not reality. If a friendship is built on affirmation, then if you want to be friends with someone, well, then you only tell what keeps that friendship intact. You only share things that would be affirmed. You only affirm someone else. Therefore, you're not telling the truth. And that has a huge impact on us. When people stop telling the truth about us, especially if it might hurt us, we actually stop trusting them. Because if they won't tell us the truth, even if it hurts, we stop trusting them that they are telling the truth even when it doesn't. And this is why for many, friendships feel shallow. They may feel supportive of what we actually do share with someone else, but they are fragile and something is missing. I think there's actually a better way to understand friendship. And it's a way that's built not on flattery, but reality. And it's the model given to us for thousands of years. It's the model that satisfies. It's a model that it satisfies because it's what we were actually created for. And it's the biblical model of friendship. I think that there are 3 foundations that ground a biblical model of friendship. And these 3 foundations are as follows. Number 1, we have a shared foundational identity. So we are all created in the image of God. Therefore, we are equally loved by God. We all have equal value. We are all worthy of being loved by one another. And with this, being created in God's image, it also entails that we are created for relationships. We need relationships in our lives. And it comes with it a sense of purpose for humanity and our own unique giftings and purposes. We were created to know God and to be in relationship with Him. Thus, being created in God's image means you're created with intent, you have worth and you have value, and there is a shared direction for all of us. There's a direction for our lives, a goal to know and to walk with God. Second is common ground. The Bible, it gives the correct diagnosis for humanity, that we are all sinful. And that's humbling. No one is more righteous than another. No one can hold their behavior higher than anyone else. We have all sinned, as Romans 3:23 says. We have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And number 3, friendships are rooted in love. Proverbs 17:17 says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity." I like to think that, think of love as an act of my will for the betterment of another, regardless the cost. We can often think of love as this warm, fuzzy feeling, but love is really a choice. In Ephesians, we see it as love is to nourish and to cherish, or protect someone and provide for them so that they may grow into who they ought to be. Their purpose. This means that friendships are relationships of commitment with loyalty and characterized by trust. So all 3 of these things, they simply mean that like the foundation for friendship, what friendships are built upon is that no one is better than anyone else. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to choose wrong at one time or another. We are all valuable. We are all worthy of love and charity. We all need relationships to flourish. And we ought to have relationships that are characterized by love and not by feeling. In love, it sometimes means calling someone else to a higher standard when their actions are wrong because of our true purpose, which is to know God and to walk with Him, to become more like Jesus. This makes me think of what Dietrich Bonhoeffer, he writes in Life Together. Nothing can be more cruel than the leniency which abandons others to their sin. So speaking truth with gentleness in a relationship where you have the equity to do so, and with love, it is an act of kindness. And to not do so is like the abandonment of that person. If we really have a purpose, which we do, then to not risk honesty and love is not kind. C.S. Lewis says that friends are the kinds of relationships that are side by side, absorbed in some common interest. This means that there is a shared orientation of a true friendship, which is the betterment of the other. Without a shared direction for friendship, it risks collapsing back in on itself to just ourselves and our desires. The friendship just becomes about us. when I think about modern friendships in our individualistic culture, this is what I think about. The only thing other than Christ to build a friendship upon is us. It's me and it's you. So what gets in the way oftentimes of a deeper friendship that we actually desire is us. It's our fears and what we really crave. And this is what I mean. So we all desire affirmation. So modern friendships, they are built upon that. We look for friends who just affirm us. We all want agreement. So we find friends who we agree with or that agree with us. And if not, we move on. We hate tension. It makes us feel insecure and unstable, so we try to avoid it. We build friendships that are characterized by a lack of tension. We want what feels good in the moment, so friendships become about what feels good, and they become seasonal and they become convenient. We want happiness. That is our goal. So in the end, that's what friendships are about. They are about our happiness. And so often friendships become transactional. We look to friends in friendships as what we will get out of it, how it's going to be a benefit to us. This is how I see modern friendships characterized. And I just think looking at this list, how fragile. It only serves what we want. It's easy. Now, compare this to the biblical model of friendship that are built upon the foundation of being created in God's image, everyone has common ground of being sinful, and that are characterized by love. The biblical model of friendship has a foundation of love, not affirmation. It's self-sacrificial for the betterment of the other regardless the cost. It is sustained by commitment, not agreement. It engages tension with grace, and it's characterized by forgiveness. People forgive each other. It endures rather than being seasonal or convenient. It's purposeful. It's oriented towards our true purpose. It serves who we ought to be, to become more like Jesus, to know God personally. And happiness and satisfaction, they are the byproduct of that. They are not the goal. The biblical model of friendship, this is a friendship that is strengthened through suffering and trial and the hards of life, rather than just being fragile under pressure or built upon the good things in our lives that we're willing to share, while being terrified that if we actually shared all of us, that we would be rejected. The quote that I shared from Tim Keller earlier, that exposes that our desires are to be known and loved, it continues. To be loved but not known is comforting but superficial. To be known and not loved is our greatest fear. But to be fully known and truly loved is, well, a lot like being loved by God. It is what we need more than anything. It liberates us from pretense, humbles us out of our self-righteousness, and fortifies us for any difficulty life may throw at us. Now, why does all this matter? C.S. Lewis, he writes in his book, The Four Loves, that friendship is born at the moment when one person says to another, "What? You too? I thought I was the only one." We don't build connection with other people through simple affirmation. We don't build connection through just our strengths, the good things that we share. Craig Rochelle shared something that stuck with me. He says, "We may impress people with our strengths, but we connect through our weakness." The moment when we are real and we are open and honest, when we allow ourselves to be known, and in response, we are loved by a friend, is when we feel true acceptance. And it is just a little piece of what it means to be loved by God. Jesus in John 15:15 says, "No longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends. For all that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you." In other words, Jesus is saying, you are friends because I am letting you in on everything. I'm opening up. I'm spilling it all. I'm allowing myself to be known by you. But we will never find this. We will never find our longings fully satisfied when we build friendships out of affirmation, when we build it out of acceptance and support what we can gain. If we have this modern view of friendship, They're key components in friendships, but they are not the foundation. We need something deeper. If we desire friendships that are deep, that are built upon love, that will shape us to be the type of people who we ought to be, we have to risk vulnerability. Sharing the failures, sharing the pains, and doing life together. We have to share all of it, and we have to stay when others fail, and we have to walk alongside them in their pain. If we want to go beyond the surface level, we must look at what Scripture says, that we're created in God's image. We're worthy of love and respect. We're created for a relationship. We are all sinners, and we can love well in friendships. This means going deeper. And going deeper starts with being vulnerable ourselves and being honest with our friends. Now, if no one has ever modeled real friendship to you, I want you to start here. In the description of this video, I'm going to put 4 biblical stories that model different aspects of friendship that you can read. There's going to be a PDF in the description. Building friendships, it starts with this point. It starts with a revolutionary idea of how we see ourselves. And I just want to tell you this. You are worth being friends with. And you need to understand that. No matter your story, no matter your experience, no matter your past, no matter anything, you are worth being friends with. And when you're open and when you're vulnerable and you share, yes, you risk being rejected, but it is for the sake of being known and loved. It is for the sake of satisfying a longing that you were created with, a longing that is supposed to be met by a relationship with the God who knows you and who loves you, and with healthy friendships that we walk through life with.